So we just found out that the Netflix contract is not going to be renewed. Oh my god, I can imagine the Montecito platters smashing. I am pretty sure that they knew this from a long time ago, even if Netflix has already said, yeah, we're moving on with the second season of With Love Megan, even if we know it's going to be even worse than 383 plays. You know that she barely made into the first 400 whatever of shows of the first half of the year. There are more TV projects coming soon with both the Duke and Duchess, but not on Netflix for sure. A source told Page 6. They are set to sign a first look deal with the streamer when their exclusive deal ends this year. I don't know. I really don't know what a first look deal is, but I think that Netflix is already aware that these people don't pull the numbers and these people don't have the star power that they used to be 5 years ago. 5 years ago, granted, it was a completely different thing. 6 years ago, 5 years ago, that was another beast. That was a juggernaut, and we witnessed the destruction of that juggernaut by Harry and Meghan themselves. So they are the only ones to blame. The latest news comes just days after official figures show that the Suits alums' latest project failed to rank among the platform's top 300 most watched titles between January and June 2025. Also, the comments on that post, Harry and Meghan Markle could have used their shows on Netflix to make amends and admit to some of their mistakes. That would have been different. It would have been good PR. Now it seems too late for that. They have reached a level of unpopularity where people will question whatever they do. I can't see them coming back from this. I nor do I. They weren't handed 100 million. They had the opportunity to earn up to 100 million. That is important. But as we have all seen, they didn't come close. Hopefully, Netflix has learned its lesson. I really don't care about Netflix, but Princess Carparkle has a point in here in this post. Word on the streets is Harry and Meghan are hoping for a deal with Paramount Plus, and that would make sense since Meghan Markle has been schmoozing Tracy James, wife of Paramount and Nickelodeon head honcho Brian Robbins. The problem that I see with this reasoning, although it could be because for what other reasons she would be cozying up with Tracy, that I don't see any reason in there, is that Paramount is not in a good shape. Paramount is pretty much like Lemonada right now. So it's like it's a huge downgrade. Paramount is still bleeding money. The streaming wars are hitting hard. Netflix is barely trying to survive. Disney has the benefit of having all the money in the world to spend. Robbins has his own checker pass with Nickelodeon and Dan Snyder, which I made a video about that on my Body Language Guide channel. So she's at least consistent with keeping skeevy friends, Tyler Perry too, and her purely transactional relationships. Would she be hanging out with Tracy James if she wasn't a studio head's wife? I don't think so. Brian Robbins isn't stupid though, and he saw the failures that Spotify and Netflix were. People do not want to watch Markle. They don't want her content, her shows. They hate her podcasts, and they don't want to hear her voice, her lectures, her lies, and her vocal fry. I think that people better listen to my Valley Girl accent before listening to Megan. I should improve my Valley Girl accent, by the way. It's more like South Parky. By the way, South Park... big congratulations to these guys from South Park because they earned $1.5 billion contract as a renewal. Well, that was just massive. Those guys are billionaires, this is my understanding. That's been proven time and time again by the failure of every project. She's not relatable, likable, or watchable. She's cringy, awkward, and phony in everything she does, and people see it as a mile away. I don't know why she thinks she belongs on our TVs or phones, but no, it's embarrassing at this point. She's got to find a new grift. I suppose Fruit Goo, Tia, and Swill are going to have to pay the bills. I don't think that her brand is gonna be able to pay the bills. It should be it should be just something that bleeds money for no reason. But you cannot fund your Montecito lifestyle in something that bleeds money. She would need something more juicy. She would need a 100 million contract juicy, but where are they going now? How are they going to earn money? I'm going to make a video about Harry and the Halo Trust, by the way. He's trying to appear, in this philanthropic or activist. No, it's not activist, it's not the word. Or is that the word? He wants to cosplay as Diana. He wants to play the Queen of Hearts thing. Fun fact, Brian Robbins was on the late 80s TV show Head of the Class. He played Eric and had a lot more hair. But again, I see this as the writing on the wall that we have seen for so many times, that we have said, what is going to happen after Netflix? I really didn't know what was going to happen with Netflix. At some point in recent days, I could say that at least they get to, they get the mentions. Netflix gets the mentions just by saying that Megan didn't make it to sub 300 plays on Netflix shows. And you get to see, I said that in a previous video, you get to see number 1, number 2, number 3, and you find out about other Netflix shows and you get interested. But that doesn't justify the huge amount of millions, or all those millions. It's not justified. You can invest that money much better in the influencer economy, in the YouTuber economy, even paying ads. Use that money to pay ads. That will make so much better than whatever you intended to do with Harry and Meghan, giving them this platform that they absolutely squandered. They did nothing with that. It was all this narcissistic me projects that went nowhere, and that is sad. That should be a sin. It should be a cardinal sin, an eighth cardinal sin or capital sin. I have to brush my sins knowledge, but it's not the way. It's not the way that this should be. I mean, again, when you have such a platform, when you have such a responsibility, when you know that people are listening to you, I think that Meghan got drunk on the controversy. I think that Meghan got drunk, and Meghan at some point she even liked. You notice that at some point there were no more prosecution of people talking about Meghan in YouTube channels and etc. I think that at some point she began liking what we were doing. Just talking about her. In my case, just talking about her. Talking about her and her projects. I was not doing anything special besides that. And maybe Meghan liked that. Oh, I like this. I like how I'm being mentioned over and over again in all these channels. Let's do things the infamous way. And that's what we are getting. That's what we are getting. And as for Netflix, what's going to happen after this? Is Meghan still with her current PR agency, by the way? I don't know. We should find that out. We should find that one out, because that would be interesting. And the way that they have fallen from grace, and the way there are still people grifting, defending them, well, to each their own. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Remember that my merch is right below this video. Check it out. Much love and bliss.